So we're here today with our Facebook Live series, the next installment, Business Insights Anyone Can Use. We're here with Jon Zimbeck with Supporting Strategies with the Denver Boulder location.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about obviously business-related stuff, but again, the Rocky Mountain Healthcare Law. We work with our physicians, dentists, other healthcare professionals, and we help them build and protect their careers and practices. So Jon is going to talk to us a little bit about himself and his business, and they provide bookkeeping services, but not just bookkeeping services, really strategic advising, and they work along with your CPA. They don't do the tax specific stuff, filing your taxes, so they really are an adjunct to various things. But I'm going on talking about what you should be talking about. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your business?
Certainly. Thank you, Phil. It's nice to be here. From a background perspective, I spent a lot of time in corporate America automating large company financial information, and when I wanted to find a way to give back to the community and to start a business that really helped the small business community, when I found Supporting Strategies and the way they approached their business, I knew that I had found a good home. And Supporting Strategies is really disrupting the old bookkeeper model by using technology that wasn't available 3-4 years ago, and automating all of our clients' transactions so that we can spend more time with our virtual staff, supporting them in managing their business and understanding what kinds of actions they need to take. And really, in essence, what we're doing is we're providing a virtual accounting department and pulling it down into that bookkeeper space.
Great, and full disclosure to everybody, I know Jon, he's a colleague of mine, and we think highly of their work, but not only do they do great work, I'm also a client, and most people probably won't get that attempt at a joke, but that's okay. Anyways, so I am a client, full disclosure, but I wouldn't have Jon here unless I really believed in the great work that he's doing. So, so Jon told us a little bit about himself. So what we're going to do is we wanted to talk just about kind of a checklist. We don't have time to go over everything. There are many, many things you need to know. But from a financial standpoint, we'll get through what we can. And so we just kind of wanted to start with the three that we thought were at least the most important. So one of the things is you talked about bringing things down. So talk about using the cloud. A lot of us who've been in business for a while, maybe there was not really the cloud as we think of it when we started out. And
Certainly.
So why don't you tell us a little bit of how your business works in that, and how that works out, and how great that is.
Certainly, and again, in the last few years, technology has made really a lot of great strides in bringing functionality and bringing better security to all of those environments, making them much more usable. And the reality of it is, it's not as scary as it used to be, because it's very straightforward and easy to use, easy to create the kinds of security and password that will keep your data safe. And safe data is really the key here, because a lot of large companies have disaster recovery plans, they have backup recovery, and this really allows small businesses to have that kind of data protection, so that if your laptop falls into the pool, or your laptop falls out of the car, whatever happens, you're going to have your information. You're not going to spend a lot of time trying to recover from those kinds of accidents. Additionally, with the advent of laptops and tablets and smartphones, and the more mobile you're going to be in your business, the more access points you're going to have, and the easier it will be to get to all of your information, regardless of what you're on from a device perspective, or where you're at.
And so the message from there is, the cloud is now, it is where it needs to be to provide these types of services, to provide your bookkeeping and support services along those lines.
Absolutely.
In an efficient manner. So, and that's good, because like I said, some of us, I don't think of myself as old, but I've been practicing for 25 years now almost, and it was very different. It's not the days of the ledger that I used to write everything in.
That is correct.
Okay, so let's talk about another big one, which sometimes people don't understand, and that's the separating of personal and business expenses. So you can tell us a little bit why that's important, and maybe how you guys help your clients address that.
Certainly, and it really comes down, Phil, to two real simple steps. Creating, if you're going to be in business, and set up a checking account for your business, set up a savings account for your business, and if you need to buy things on credit, get a credit card in the business's name so that you can take those steps to separate your personal finances from your business's finances. And it's very important that that takes place because it allows you not only to segregate those assets but to protect both of them from anything that may happen as you're going through life and through your business evolution. Specifically, though, we want to make sure that with the separation, you're able to really save time during month end or during the preparation for your tax returns, those kinds of things. You'll spend an inordinate amount of time sifting through things that happened months ago, trying to get them in an order where you can file an appropriate tax return.
Right, and I think it's important in a lot of our clients, and I won't go into all the details, but from a legal liability standpoint, it's also very important. You want to keep those business expenses separate, just because people may have heard the term piercing the corporate veil.
Yes.
Maybe I'll do another talk on that, Facebook Live thing on that another time. But that is an important thing. It really is protecting yourself from a liability standpoint. Absolutely. If you're, especially in healthcare, where you can get sued and for a variety of things.
Yes.
Anyway, so if you're just joining us, I'm Philip Bluestein with Rocky Mountain Healthcare Law, formerly the Bluestein Law Firm, and we're here with our Facebook Live series, Business Insights Anyone Can Use, and we're here with Jon Zimbeck with Supporting Strategies, Denver, Boulder, bookkeeping services and strategic advising. So just kind of turning back to our discussion, one of the big things that you and I chatted for right before this, and we've talked about in the past, is really having that schedule. Having a schedule and sticking to a schedule, and we all have schedules, but in terms of kind of our bookkeeping and our running our businesses, tell us what you mean by when you advise clients about that.
And certainly, Phil, the key is not to procrastinate, to make sure that you're active in the management of the finances of your business. And there are things that you need to pay attention to every day. There are things that are different but should be scheduled every week or bi-weekly, for example, if you do payroll bi-weekly. And then monthly, as you do some of the checks and balances, making sure that the things that you've done during that month are appropriate. And then as you move on through your year, quarterly is usually tax filing, right? Sales tax, income tax estimates. And then, of course, everybody is well prepared around, or well understanding around end of year and taxes. But the one thing I would advise there is don't wait for tax time to review your results for the year.
Right.
Because the end of the year is a good time to sit down and do your planning for the next year and to be fully prepared, not only for taxes in March and April, but to be fully prepared to hit the ground running in January with your business.
Right, and I would imagine that part of too, kind of keeping to this week or this schedule, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, and annually, of course, but keeping those, I mean, that's how you run an effective business. That's how you can see what's happening in your business, see when good things are happening, but also see when the bad things are happening, and be able to prepare and hopefully mitigate the damages if you're seeing a cash crunch or something like that. So those are good things. So great. Well, we're kind of running out of time here. Some great information. Wish we had longer. Maybe we'll do a second part to this at some point. But I just want to say thank you for joining us today. I think we have some really great information. You can see how important it is to work with somebody who is knowledgeable about these kinds of things and can really help. So Rocky Mountain Healthcare Law, thank you for joining us, and we help doctors build and protect their careers and practices.